The pipeline between being the child that no one had to worry about to becoming an adult that no one ever hears from really needs to be talked about a little bit more.
When you grow up being the responsible one, like the kid that nobody had to worry about, you don't really just grow up. You actually just disappear. You become the adult that nobody ever checks in on. They just assume that you're fine, even when you're not fine, even when you would love for somebody to check in on you. I remember always being told like how mature I was for my age, but what was really going on underneath all of that is I learned early on that my needs don't matter, that it's actually safer for me if I minimize my needs. That's what's that's what's safer for me, that's what's better for me, right? And you just internalize this idea that like your needs don't matter, that it's safer to just hold everything in than to risk being a burden to someone else. It's safer to figure it out alone than to rely on someone else ever coming to help, right? And there's so many reasons why this happens, but it goes back to our childhood and whether or not we were safe enough to ask for help, whether or not there was someone consistently there to be able to help us, or whether or not we were often left to our own devices. And then, whether or not we asked for help and we got help, or if we asked for help and ended up disappointed or embarrassed, right? So what I eventually started experiencing is when something hard happened, I just shut down, try to fix it quietly on my own, and then come back and pretend that everything was fine. And people just let me do that. Now, when you carry that into adulthood, that doesn't just make you strong. Like, it makes you strong, but it also makes you silent. And beyond that, what I really experienced is it makes you really lonely. You crave connection, but your nervous system doesn't trust it, right? What she's describing in this video isn't just like being overly independent or hyper independent. It's adaptive emotional neglect, which she said at the end of the video. Like it's kind of neglectful. And this is because being low maintenance as a kid often means that no one ever actually checked if you were okay. And then we grow up and confuse this emotional isolation with being a grown ass adult. We just think it just comes with the territory. We just think that's really what it means. Okay, but what we really end up with is just being like too alone, just too alone. And when your nervous system ultimately learns that no one's coming, asking for help doesn't just feel awkward, it feels unsafe. It feels impossible. It feels like just something that you can't do. And deeper than that, it kind of feels like abandoning the identity and the habits and the belief systems that kept you safe and got you this far up until this point. And maybe you didn't realize that, but this is something that I realized. Okay, so, when someone ultimately comes around and says, hey, I can help you with that, and then you feel your chest start to tighten and you kind of force this smile and you say, no, I'm good. Even when you're drowning, this starts to really block a lot of things in your life. This starts to hold you back. It's kind of quiet. But just think about how you want deep connection. I want deep connection. I think everybody wants it, whether they admit it or not. But you keep choosing or tolerating people who don't actually show up for you. This is what happens when you grew up as this kind of overly independent child, right? And, this is why you might want more ease in your life, but you only know how to trust the chaos that you can control, right? This is why you want to be supported, but your nervous system treats it like a threat because this is just the experience that you've had over time. And this is what makes you ultimately more naturally a fit for emotionally unavailable people, selfish people who can't really see you when you're an adult because you're most comfortable not being seen, even though that's not what you want. This is what's crazy. Like, you want to be seen, actually, but you've built your identity around not needing to be. And so those bigger opportunities that you want and deserve go to those who embrace being more visible. It's crazy. And then we reinforce this by making decisions that, are really, they're smart decisions at the core, but they don't result in us feeling nourished or full or supported or connected. They result in us feeling empty. And this is because the part of you that wants connection is fighting with the part of you that learned it's safer to be alone and do everything by ourselves and deal with everything by ourselves and carry everything by ourselves. Okay. Now, I want to make something really clear here. Being strong isn't the problem, right? That strength got us far. It got me really far. It helped me be really successful. It's when that's your only mode. That's when it becomes a problem. When all you can do is only be strong, right? Like, that's the problem. And the healing work here isn't like about really getting better at communicating and talking to people. Like, that's what's on the surface, and you get better at that as you do the deeper healing work. But the deeper healing work is really teaching your body that safety doesn't have to equal self-isolation, that you can actually be safe in connection, right? It's teaching your body that love isn't something you have to earn by never needing it. Because when you were a child, never needing something meant that you would be closer to your parents, versus when you need something, it becomes a problem and then you're not as close to your parents, right? So the healing work, again, is learning that, hey, I don't have to earn love by never needing anything, that you can let people in before you break down, that you can let someone hold you or share some of the burdens, and that doesn't make you weak. It makes you human, okay? So some examples of what this looks like is you saying, yeah, I'd actually really appreciate that, instead of saying, no, I got it automatically. It's like letting someone bring you soup without apologizing for being sick and needing help. It's about admitting you're tired without rushing to fix it, okay? So here's the real question here. Are you actually okay? Are you good? Do you actually got it? Or are you just really good at convincing people that you're good? This independence protected you at one point, right? And it was necessary for a season, but it's probably the thing that's starving you of connection and support and intimacy and safety and more abundance in like every single area of your life. Okay, now as a coach, it's only right that I end this video with some steps that you can take so you can begin to shift out of this particular flavor of survival mode, okay? The first one is call this pattern what it is. Call it a survival strategy, because that's what it is, okay? And I want you to start noticing your tells. I want you to start paying attention to where your body says no before your mouth does, okay? And I want you to name the fear. I want you to name the fear. What's the threat that your nervous system is predicting as it relates to being supported, as it relates to experiencing connection? And I want you to lower the stakes, okay? I don't want you to start with dealing with the deepest wounds of your childhood. I just want you to start with like letting someone do a grocery run for you, right? Letting someone give you a ride, like small favors. Start to say yes to small favors. Start saying yes and accepting support without apologizing for it, okay? And when you do that, let it land. See if you can just invite yourself to take a couple deep breaths in the moment when someone is doing something for you or supporting you or being there for you, okay? And I want you to reinforce this over time, okay? One rep isn't going to change everything, but consistency with some of these steps is going to teach your body that it's safe now, and it's going to help your body understand that it's safe still when you're supported, versus the safest mode for you is when you're isolated. Now, if you like this content, I recognize this video is kind of long, but if you made it to this point in the video and you like this content, my name is Sid Scott, and I help successful women like you regulate and reconnect to themselves